to this week's Talking Codswallop. I am Gemma, and I've got a slightly nasally nose today because I'm still full of cold. So there we have it. But I'm Gemma.
I'm glad to you have a nasally nose as opposed to a nose that isn't actually nasal, because that would make you wonder what sort of nose would it indeed well be. Yeah. I'm, of course, James, being a smart ass as ever with my responses. When we initially were starting to record, Gemma thought she'd got one over on me, and she almost did, because she actually got me in the middle of trying to take a drink. And she can't even see me, but somehow she knows. Those powers. Yeah.
Yep. I do. I know everything. I'm a woman. I know everything. And also, I suppose my nose. If I didn't have like a nasally nose, I suppose I would be Daniela Westbrook, wouldn't I?
Ooh, burn! Yes, you would be. You would be missing the integral parts of your nose. The septum would be gone. Yeah, and your face would be collapsing in upon itself. Yes. Which is not the way you want to go at all. Yeah, you hear many instances of people taking cocaine. Other drugs are available, where their nose has well and truly eroded. Not fun.
No, not fun. And I assure James that earlier when I was putting something up my nose, it was a Vicks vape. It was a Vicks stick. An inhaler nasal stick by Vicks, not anything else. But yeah, I'm still full of cold, but life goes on. So there we have it.
That's what she wants me, and you salted up also believe. I'm not entirely sure. But to be fair, Gemma, you do sound pretty good. You sound clear. You don't sound bad at all for somebody suffering with congestion issues.
Well, there you have it. See, I'm a professional. I was going to say, just before we sort of start this week's episode, I just wanted to say a big, massive thank you again to, obviously the man himself, the wonderful Chesney Hawkes, for being our guest last week. And I think, I'd like to speak for James as well as myself that we had a blast. We had an amazing time, but we were also a little bit nervous at the beginning, I believe. Well, I definitely was. So I assume you were a little bit as well, James.
Well, for me, it was more just unfocused, uncompromising rage over having somebody with as wonderful hair as he has. The competition level, it's like a hair battle between us both. But I got through it. I acted professional and carried on with the interview. But I will say, what an incredibly nice man. Yes. Incredibly nice, kind, interesting man. I assume I speak for both of us. You said absolutely. I'm sure I do on this one. That just a huge thank you, because what a wonderful guest. What a truly wonderful guest.
Yeah, and also we've been having amazing feedback from people as well, saying that it's a really great interview. People have been really enjoying the YouTube channel as well. So, the YouTube video, sorry. But there has been a lot of questions, which I think we should discuss out of the gate straight away.
Okay.
Well, one thing is that I wasn't feeling 100%, so I was sucking on a not a sweet, but
please answer this. Be very careful how you answer this.
No, I can't remember the brand, but it was a cough sweet because I needed to get through it. So if at any point I looked a little bit like I was po-faced or whatever, it's because I was sucking on my sweetie. But, there we go. Might be an episode title, Sucking on My Sweetie. But the other thing that people were aware of was the fact that James was wearing gloves. And James, do you want to explain the reason why you were wearing gloves?
Yes, I will explain the gloves. It's in fact the fact that, it's something I've had to do for a while. It is actually, I'm glad that we're now bringing this to the fore to discuss it, because it is something that, has it's weighed upon me, the fact that people may wonder, and I feel the need to know. And it's mainly a tribute to the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson, that I only wear one glove, but I swap it between hands at lightning speed. So it appears I'm wearing two gloves. But yes, it's a tribute to the one and only Mr. Michael Jackson.
Not the one and only Chesney Hawkes.
No.
But the real reason, James, is
Well, I told you, no. No, the real reason is I have problems with circulation, and also with arthritis, which really hits my right side. But it does hit both my hands. So even like when we were doing that, I had the heating on. I was actually getting too hot, so I had to turn the heating off during. Because if you watch my video for it, I do appear to be getting a bit red because I was getting too hot. Even with the heating on full, my hands will start going horrible and cold and messing up. So I have to wear gloves even when it's warm, in a warm environment. In fact, I'm wearing them now. Because when the weather gets cold, it really does hit me, I'm afraid to say. So, yeah, that's the answer. But thank you for asking, people. Is it that? But the question you have to ask, Salty Tadpoles, which is the true comment? Is it the fact that I'm doing it as a tribute to the King of Pop? Or is it a health thing? Only, you'll just have to guess.
I'm guessing... Well, I know the answer, but I'm going to guess the fact that the Salty Tadpoles know you well enough to know that it's probably the health problem.
Yeah, I've not. I mean, the next time we're on video, if I roll out an oxygen chamber, that may give you an indication that it's a different answer than you think of it being health. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Shumor.
Exactly. But
or
there
Shimon,
we have
Shimon, whatever it was, yes. But no, it may be health. It may be, that's the one.
Shimon, motherfucker.
It may be a Michael Jackson tribute. Time will tell.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't think that's the case. It's all big lies. So how have you been this week then, James?
Well, I've managed to put a muscle in my back really badly. So I'm laughing because I've been having to get massages, and one of them, the pain level was so bad with the muscle pull that when it was being done, I was sweating. I was being massaged.
Yeah.
I was just like sweating because it was very painful, but it has started to ease off. The Dean who does my massages has been kind enough to call me the Presley pretzel, with all fucked up written next to it, and also to put that he was watching a film about where I was born called Fucktardia. So this is my friend who looks after me.
We wouldn't expect it any less, though, would you, James?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't know if I could be friends with him. He didn't have that humour. So.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it would definitely be. Nobody would really be friends if that's the case.
No. Yeah, but it is. It's slowly easing off. But it was damn sore, I can tell you. But these things happen. How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Obviously, like I said, I've been full of cold, but there's that, it's not the medical corner, I promise everybody, but apparently it is. But I went into the office today, and that was not too bad. I just felt like I kind of needed a bit of a change of scene as well, because you get really stir crazy when you're cooped up indoors, don't you? Especially when you're working and not socializing. So, I was pretty much staying in at the moment. So, fun. Life is fun. But that said, I did over the last 2 weeks, because obviously we didn't sort of discuss our normal show last week. So I jotted down some notes of different things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go through them. So one of them was I was driving along. This is mostly me driving along, by the way. And
corner. Carry on. Continue.
Yeah. It's On the Road Again. That's what I'm thinking that is going to be called. On the Road Again with Gemma and James. So these are things that I see on the road. So on the I was driving along, as I said, and there was two men who were racing on mobility scooters down the pavement, but they were laughing and having so much fun. I was just like, I'm quite jealous. I really wanted to be involved in their game. They were just, they were kind of like, I'd say they were probably mid-50s. So they probably didn't really need to be in the mobility scooters. But it was just the fact that they were literally racing each other down the pavement. Nobody was sort of walking on there. So it's obviously no issue from that point of view. But they were just really having a good laugh and really, really enjoying life, And I just looked out the window and I was like, I want to be them.
Interesting. I mean, what worries me upon hearing this is that, considering they may not need these scooters, could they have stolen them?
They could have.
They could have stolen them from some poor person who really needs them, or is Gemma being ableist? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they may have needed them. I obviously couldn't assume because I was driving, but it was just the fact that it's not important whether they were needed or not. It was more the fact that they were just enjoying life, and it was just so nice to see. Actually, just a couple of chaps just really having a good old laugh, and they were proper belly laughing as well. It was really nice to see. So, yeah, I was like, yeah,
So it was your heart was warm to see them being happy and enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, mine's just frozen up one of the ventricles here in that one. My heart's just gone more icicle like.
Okay, well,
Continue.
you may like this one then.
Okay.
So I went to Lidl. Other supermarkets are available, but went to Lidl, parked up, and no, I'd just been in, so I just came back out to get in the car sort of thing. And I happened to look over to my left, and there was this man in his car, and he was proper picking his nose, James. It was disgusting. That
is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, he was he wasn't driving or anything. They, both me and him were parked, and he was proper. If I couldn't, if what's it called? If he wasn't scratching his brain, I'd be really surprised. He was proper digging his nose in, and I was like, "Oh, this is disgusting." But it's like a car crash. It's like, oh, but I have to keep watching to see how long you're going to carry on. But
it's interesting that you find yourself looking at this with the problem, picking his nose. I suspect that there's an envy there, Gemma, with your cocaine problem and your septum having fallen out. That you just wish you were able to do that.
Well, no, not anything. I can't believe you're telling people my secret. Stop it, James. No, honestly, though, this guy, I'd say it was a good 2 minutes. 2 minutes he was picking his nose for. He was completely oblivious of the fact that other people was around. He was just proper. And thankfully, I didn't see him eat it. So, that was that
would be a little stomach churning, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I've got a couple of weird thoughts that I had as well. So I might leave them until a bit later. So yeah. So those were my two observations that I had this week. But of course I've got Codswallop as well, of course. So have you got any Codswallop before we move on to mine?
It ties into the back thing. The Codswallop of breathing and it hurts. There you go. That's been my Codswallop of the week. When you breathe in, it's like, oh. But hey, it's getting better, so I can't really complain about it, I guess.
No, definitely not. Right, we're going to move on to my Codswallops then. I have two of them. I'm not going to use one of the Codswallops that I previously spoke to you off mic about because you were correct.
I don't know what you're talking about. Not a clue. Go on.
No, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. Yeah.
It's a real Codswallop, and I've never talked about real Codswallops, so it's always been quite lighthearted. So I'm going to go with the lighthearted one. Right, so I had two. So obviously, everybody knows that I've got an issue with people blowing their noses. Well, it turns out I've got an issue with myself blowing my nose as well. It's just the sound in general is disgusting.
I'm aware of this, yeah.
Yeah. So for the last sort of week or so, I've really been torturing myself, and but you have to blow your nose when you're not feeling well. So
this is true.
I've been doing the right thing and whatnot, and but I had this coughing fit that I felt like, if anyone's eating right now, I just want to give you a heads up. Okay, this is going to be a bit gross, so put down whatever you're eating for a sec. So I was really coughing quite hard. I was outside, and it totally, like, I coughed so hard that I was actually sick, and I physically sort of force myself not to be sick. So when I am sick, it's like almost quite a traumatic experience in itself. So obviously then my nose was running as well. So, I had the triple, the double thing. But then when I blew my nose, there was a load of sick up my nose, James. It was disgusting.
Damn. I bet that, come on, guys, let's admit it, that should be the Tinder profile picture. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Dear.
Oh, God.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrendous, and it like burnt and everything, because obviously sick's not nice, is it? And it burns. But oh God, it's like, honestly, it's like the worst thing ever for me. Like,
that's pretty horrible. That is pretty horrible. I'm gonna be honest, that's pretty gross.
Yeah. So blowing my nose and also being sick and having to blow my nose and blowing sick out of my nose. But that was really, really gross. So I thought I'd go with that one first. And then we're going to go with my funny one.
Okay.
So a couple of nights ago, we'll move swiftly on so that other people can get over that one. And sorry, you can start eating again now if you really want to. My other Codswallop is, right, so obviously Graham and my mum have decorated my room for me and whatnot. Obviously I chipped in a little bit and stuff, but still they put a lot of effort in. So the idea was that I was going to take them out for dinner, but because we've been all feeling so rotten the last couple of days, decided to get a takeout. So went to.
So far so good, yeah. Liking it.
I just wanted to, they didn't want anything, but I wanted to sort of say thank you and, that kind of thing. So we decided on fish and chips, and there's a few in Weymouth that, seaside town, of course, we've got quite a few fish and chip places, but there's a couple that are actually really, really nice. So decided to go to one of the fish and chip shops, good 15 minutes away from my house, but it's still, like I said, it's worth it. So I went there and I got, they wanted OAP fish and chips, because it's a little bit smaller so they can eat them. And I got, regular chips with a jumbo battered sausage. God, I love a sausage, James. And then I also ordered a plain sausage.
I'm resisting to make rude jokes. Keep going. Keep going.
No, you make your rude joke. Go on, say your rude joke.
No, I'm listening. I'll keep listening.
Yeah, okay. And so then I also ordered just like a normal sausage for the dog, because I thought, we're having a takeaway, so I'll get him a little sausage as well.
That's kind.
Yeah, so that was lovely. So yeah, so obviously ordered, and waited for the food. And then he shouted out my order number 34, I went to collect it and then went home, obviously. And I was like, I came through the door and I went, guys, don't tell me off, but I decided to buy the dog a sausage, blah, blah, blah. We can't have a treat night without him having a little something, And opened up because Mum and Graham's came in a box. So opened up the bag of chips that should have my sausage in. And my sausage was missing, but the dog sausage was available. And I was like, oh. But then because been charged for it, I was like, well, I'm just going to give them a quick call. So they, they were obviously extremely apologetic. I didn't explain that the other sausage was for the dog. I didn't explain that. But yeah, it was the fact that they managed to get the dog's order right, my mum's and Graham's order right, but they failed to get my order right. So I had to go all the way back down to go and pick up what I thought was going to just be a jumbo battered sausage. But no, they actually gave me a portion of chips as well. So so at least the chips that I had, we kind of threw them out because or would have given them to somebody else if anyone else was available, kind of thing. But because otherwise they would getting to the point where they were stone cold. So they rectified it, but it was like 4 trips it took me to go and get fish and chips for everybody, It's just bloody typical that they ballsed up my order.
Harsh. It's harsh. But you see, this is what happened. You were doing a good thing. You're doing a nice, kind, gesture to help the dog, and clearly you were punished for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wasn't really helping the dog, but yeah.
Well, you were helping the dog. You're helping the dog on its way to obesity, so you were helping it.
No. He's so energetic that he can have a sausage and he'll be fine. He doesn't, we don't give him to him. No. We don't give in to him very often. So yeah, I just thought, it's a nice little treat for him. So yeah, by the time I got home, everybody had finished, and I was like, "No, I'll just have mine then, shall I?"
Well, at least you got to have a nice, pleasant meal without anyone bugging you, I guess. If you're looking at it that way, you're completely alone to eat. So.
Oh, no, James.
Oh, right. No, that didn't happen. Oh, right.
No,
okay.
No, you don't understand having a dog, do you? So I gave him his sausage already. And so I sat down to eat mine, having my din-dins, and draw out of the corner of his mouth, I was like, no, sod off, James. Sod off,
the dog. Wow, you call the dog my name when you get angry.
Yeah, piss off, James. No, I said, no socks. I've given you a sausage. You're not having any of mine. He ended up having 1 chip, but I
thought so. He was staring longingly, wasn't he? I can envision it. You could have probably given all the chips that hadn't been eaten to him.
Nah, that's not good for their. Right. There was quite a lot there, and to be honest, I mean, he'd have eaten them. Don't get me wrong, but it's not healthy for them to eat human food, really. So we try to avoid it as much as possible, because not only do they gain weight, but there's also things in them that can hurt them and stuff. So
I envision that with socks, what would happen is that you would probably if you put the chips down in front of me, eat the wrapper as well.
No, he's not quite that silly, but not by far.
Oh, I don't mean silly. I mean the fact that he just go like food. Whoa.
Yeah. He has tried to lick the the pattern off of the plate sort of thing, kind of thing. He is a nightmare, but he's our dog and we love him, so wouldn't change him for the world. So yeah.
Apart from the fact that he sits and drools at you when you're eating. That's his only fault.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty gross. And every single time that we go outside, we have to play with him. Well, we don't have to. It's like I'm learning to say, no, I don't want to play. I haven't got the energy to play right now. Leave me alone. But he does. He constantly wants to play. And it's like, oh, all right. God, leave me alone.
Can you imagine if you gave him a treble espresso drink? It's like the Flash.
Yeah, he would. Well, he's like that in the mornings. So in the morning when he's when Graham goes out to the kitchen to let him out for his morning bathroom breaks, kind of thing. So wee-wees. Yeah, he just literally will run up and down the hallway like a crazy nutter, and then he kind of runs. This is dog corner now, sorry everyone, but he runs around the garden like he's a horse kind of thing. He just gallops. He gallops around the garden because we got quite a big garden, so he loves life. He does. I'm quite jealous of him. I'm jealous of the 2 men in the racing mobility scooters. I want to be either of those 2 options.
This is an insight you never thought you'd get into Gemma.
No. Well, I mean, if you ask, I will tell you, but nobody asks. So, have you been watching anything fun this week? I know this week is Tuesday, but count next week, last week as well. So,
watched Inception again. That's a really good film. I enjoyed watching that.
Like that film.
Watched the most recent episode of Quantum Leap. It didn't do it for me, that episode as much. But I can't think of anything else I've watched, to be honest.
What's the series like for Quantum Leap then?
It's very little. even if there was no original Quantum, like a lot of things, when it's a remake or reboot, if there wasn't the original to compare it to, you'd probably think, wow, this is the greatest thing known to man. But it's different enough to Quantum Leap, the original Quantum Leap, to stand okay, stand alone as its own series. But I still prefer the original. But I'll watch it. It's not bad. There are worse things that you could watch on TV. The big thing I've watched that really got my attention was the trailer to the Flash film. That was pretty damn cool. It was better than I thought it'd be. So I look forward to seeing that when that comes out in, I think, June this year.
Okay. I've not actually seen it yet. So, but I've heard a lot of things about it. What's his name? Ezra something?
Ezra Miller. That's going to be the greatest press tour known to man. Yeah. I'll be interested to see that actually allow him on the press tour, because obviously he's had a lot of law-related issues. So yes. Can you imagine sitting down going, "So Ezra, what have you been doing since I last saw you?" Shifty side eyes from him. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested if they have him on the press tour, or if they do, it'll probably be like, you cannot ask him about anything but this film.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you mean anything. Oh, I see what you mean. You can't ask him anything about this film.
Anything else but about this film. It can only be focused on this film.
Yeah.
If you ask anything else, you'd be thrown from the press tour, the press junket. So yeah, but yeah, it looks interesting. I'll send you a link to it. You can have a look. See what you think.
Yeah, I will certainly have a look and see about it. But I'm hearing a lot of people sort of saying that, they'd rather not go and see it because of all of the, the stuff that's going on. And at the same time, it's kind of a bit like, well, I mean, there's all actors, like for example, I'm going to use Jared Leto, for example, because obviously he's quite hated, which I really don't like. Because
I don't get it personally. But
I mean, his Joker wasn't great. It wasn't great.
I liked it though. That is your opinion. That's fair enough. I liked it. I thought it was good because it was different, but a lot of people didn't like it. So
no, exactly. And different isn't always bad. Different, but different isn't always good. But it's kind of. I mean, out of all of his performances that he's ever done, though. That was my least of his performances that he's ever done, like least favorite sort of thing. But as an actor, he's actually quite a talented actor. And I don't understand why a lot of people hate him. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't get it either.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me.
So in that same sense, it's kind of like, with The Flash, I mean, I'd probably wait until it's out on, like streaming sites and stuff like that. But, I wouldn't necessarily go to the cinema to watch it. But then I don't go to the cinema much anymore anyway. So, that's not really anything because of that film. But at the same time, like he's an actor. So if he's acting the part correctly, then, that's fine, isn't it? But if he's, obviously if he's not doing the character justice, then that's where people should be sort of complaining. But you need to kind of separate the actor from the thing that they're in.
It's separating the art from the artist, isn't it? So even if the artist has done something you don't like, you don't agree with, can you still enjoy its music, or can you still enjoy the film? And I generally am pretty good at that. I can just sort of stick it to one side and say, if I still like the song, the film, whatever, I'll enjoy it for what it is. I'll put whatever this person's done to one side. So,
yeah, the only exception to that for me personally, and I've forgotten the band's name actually, I'm really sort of struggling to actually think what the band's name is, but there was a Welsh band. Then the lead singer became a child abuser. And
I know who you mean. He was the guy who was really, I mean, it was like the freaky. I know he is the freakiest stuff on ever with regard to this guy. But yeah, I do know who you mean. Yeah, but again, and the sad thing for that is that it completely destroyed the band, didn't it? So the band itself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was the Lost Prophets, wasn't it?
Lost Prophets, that's it. Yeah, thank you. So the Lost Prophets. I mean, I was a massive fan of them. And I'm talking like big time. But then when that news came out, it was like, I was like, nah, it's all right. I kind of threw my CDs away, so to speak. It's like, I mean, yeah, okay, I was young as well, but I still think that at nearly 40, I would still have that same viewpoint at this age now, because yeah, I think that's kind of the only exception to that, really. But yeah, he destroyed that band. He well and truly destroyed that. I mean, obviously, he destroyed also a lot more than just that band as well. But, it's a tricky one, isn't it, really? People are always going to have their own viewpoints, and let's face it.
That's true.
You do you, boo-boo. But I still think that, you should watch the film to, if you're interested in watching the film in the first place, if it excited you beforehand, then just get on it and watch the film. Yeah. You don't have to,
Where I think they're going to have problems with the film is the fact that because James Gunn's completely turned the entire DC film stuff on its head, there is a very high risk that there's a lot of people who go, well, if you're getting rid of the future stuff with Affleck, if you're getting rid of the future stuff with Keaton, if you're getting rid of all the stuff that's around that, what's the point of us seeing the film? Yeah,
definitely. But it does sound like they're actually going to be doing a lot of good things for DC.
I honestly, the problem I had is when they showed this new roster of the films they're going to create, I was rather underwhelmed. I was like, that's it? Really? Okay. Yeah, honestly, I looked, I was like, really? That's it? Fair enough. But I want to be proven wrong. I want it to be good, but I was just like, really? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to sort of comment, really, because I don't see, it's not by like a choice or anything like that, but I've always kind of lent towards the sort of Marvel side of things. So if anything Marvel-y comes out, then I'm probably more entitled to actually look at that, or more inclined, not more entitled, but
those damn entitled Marvel fans.
I know, right? But no, I'm more inclined to sort of like a moth to the flame, so to speak, of the Marvel flame rather than the DC flame. But at the same time, I would sit down and watch a DC film. It's not unheard of, but then at the same time, I'm not just going to limit myself to comic book films.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I do also watch obviously an awful lot of other stuff. So, but which kind of leads me on to what I've been watching, but equally, it's comic book related. So
shocking.
I know. But on Sky, because we have got the privilege of having Sky, so we got Sky Movies as well, which all came in a juicy little package. So it was lovely. All of the Spider-Man films were on there. So I downloaded them all. Yeah. I downloaded them all apart from the Tom Holland ones because I was probably more familiar with those ones, seen them quite a bit, because they're quite recent and stuff. But one thing I was glad that it did happen was because when the latest Spider-Man, I think it was called Far From Home, it had some home in it anyway. Have you seen that film, the latest Spider-Man?
I can't remember. It was either Far From Home, was it Into the Multiverse? I don't know. That was Doctor Strange, wasn't it? I think. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, but no, I know the one you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, at that point, we had 3 Spider-Man, and I was like, because I knew about Tobey Maguire. I knew about current one whose name's completely gone out of my brain, even though I've said it a couple of times. Yep. Tom Holland, thank you. But this other guy in the middle, I actually don't know what his name is, but I didn't know.
Andrew Garfield.
Okay, Andrew Garfield. There we go. So I didn't know anything about him, and I was like, oh, well, where did he come from? So it was good that they had all of the films out because I'm now being able to sort of go back and watch his ones as well, which I've watched the first one, and I'll be honest, I'm not massive. I do enjoy, I pretty much love Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Deadpool are my 2 favorites. And I love the Tobey Maguire one. That was kind of the original one for me. So, I love that. And I also like Tom Holland's portrayal of him as well. But I'm not overly fond of the what was his name again? Sorry.
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Sorry, if you're listening, Andrew Garfield. It's nothing personal. I keep forgetting your name. I've got long COVID. My brain keeps going. Okay, but
I have that too. It's quite impressive that I can't actually remember anything. So
exactly. So between the two of us, we get something.
We're doing reasonably well.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's his portrayal of Spider-Man, to be honest. I'm not overly fond of it. And there's something about it I can't quite put my finger on, which obviously, but there's other side of it is that I like the fact that obviously they cover all of the pretty much of the story, obviously, the uncle dies, blah, blah, blah. But those aren't the main
spoilers.
Oh yeah, God! If people don't know that, sorry. Batman's parents are dead as well, just so everyone knows. Oops. But no, it's kind of like they're not the main focus of it, which I think is quite nice, and it's quite a nice twist. Now, like I said, I've only seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one yet, so that's sort of queued up for me to watch. But yeah, I'm just not quite as feeling it, with the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, I think that one was called. So I'm not feeling it exactly, to be honest. But then again, other people might think, oh, well, it's more true to the comic book or whatever. I don't actually read the comics, so I don't know that kind of side of things. But yeah, I think, yeah, it's not quite for me, but I can't quite put my finger on it as to why, if you know what I mean. But the other one as well, that was because I, obviously had a big Spider-Man binge watch, which was the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So it was the cartoon version.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
That I loved. That was amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love that. The fact that, get all these different ones from all different dimensions and stuff like that. And you get one in black and white, which, yeah, it was amazing,
The Nick Cage variant.
Yeah. And he's, he's trying to work out what a Rubik's Cube is and stuff like that, isn't he? And obviously he's in black and white, but he's got this one thing that's color. And then you got Spider Pig as well, which, or Porky Park. No, what was it? Peter Porker or something like that.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, so...
Yeah, but oh no, I absolutely love that. I was just like, this is down to the roots of because I just love the fact that you had so many different characters. I mean, they all start out exactly the same, and they make a kind of joke of that. The fact that we were bitten by a spider, but blah 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 blah. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this. What I've been watching recently as well.
Excellent. Yeah, it's interesting to see where the Spider-Man stuff is going to go, because they've said that basically they think they will be possibly they may be continuing with Andrew Garfield in some form. They may even continue with Tobey Maguire in some form. So it'll be interesting to see what the future plan is. Offshoots seem to be the big thing now. So
yeah, absolutely. It's I know that obviously there was Sony rather than Disney, and in some ways it's a shame that they're not with Disney, because it's not all neat and tidy in a little bow, kind of thing. So I can't just look at it as can't watch it on sort of Disney Plus and whatnot. But at the same time, I like the fact that they kept their decision and they wanted to sell to Sony because they didn't agree with the mouse. So.
I don't know. I think Disney may own them now, because I think it's all definitely sure. Because they would have to. Well, they definitely own Spider-Man, Tom Holland, so there's got to be something where they can bring them into that. That's how they can do sort of the crossover thing.
Yeah, I think. But no, don't quote me on it, because, if this is wrong, just Google it and you'll find out the real answer. But, and we've also got Google at our own fingertips as well. But anyway, I'm pretty certain that it is owned by Sony, but because Spider-Man is part of the Avengers, he can be used in that format as an Avenger, but he can't be used as because when you look at like Disney Plus, to my knowledge, the films aren't on there.
I think you may be right. Yeah. It says Spider-Man, the Spider-Man deal stands as this. Sony still has the film right. Marvel is working with Sony on the 3 Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but they are Sony movies. So you won't find them on Disney Plus. But I'm wondering for the future, I guess they can keep doing their Tom Holland Spider-Man. But it's going to be interesting. So it's like they're going to own. So Disney now going to own the X-Men, aren't they? And the Fantastic Four. So it's going to be interesting.
Sony are?
Not Sony, sorry, Disney. Disney going to own X-Men.
I think they already did.
They're going to own Fantastic. Well, they didn't originally, I don't think, but it'd be then did Fox own X-Men at one point? And now I can't remember. There's been that many different people who've done that many different things, so many different studios. But because you're going to get the whole thing of having Deadpool's going to be part of Disney, which obviously will then lead to Wolverine's going to be in there, but it means the X-Men's going to end up becoming their thing, and Fantastic Four is going to become their thing at some point.
Because I think I'm not
Disney will own everything.
The mouse wins all over. I'm pretty certain that the X-Men and Fantastic Four were actually owned by Disney anyway, because again, going by what they're advertising on Disney Plus. So I know I don't think you've got Disney Plus, have you? So no. But X-Men and I'm not 100% sure.
They've definitely been bought by Disney, because it says since Disney acquired 20th Century Fox, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has now access to a whole host of other Marvel characters.
I know, so that's what I was saying.
But originally it wasn't theirs.
Okay. Oh, all right then. Okay. Well, I'm proven right on both occasions anyway, so it's all good.
Well, you're a woman, so I'm not going to argue with you.
Good boy. I'm talking to Mr. Socks again. And the other thing that I've been watching as well is Call the Midwife, which I absolutely love that program so much. And every year when it comes back around Christmas. They always have a Christmas episode, and then like a couple of weeks later, that starts with the new series. Oh my God, I love that program. It gives you literally all of the feels. 1 minute you're sad, 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're just going, oh, and then next minute you're going, oh, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen it or not. I know it's technically a girly program, but it's amazing. I love Call the Midwife.
Have I ever seen it? No. Do I ever want to see it? No.
Why though?
It just doesn't appeal to me at all.
But again, why?
Babies. There you go. Midwifery, children. Ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah. But the thing is that obviously that's one of the big focuses, but, it's also, you've got these like separate storylines.
The clue is in the title.
Yeah. But you've got all these separate like storylines and stuff like that as well, and it's a good program, but, I also get that people don't like it, but that's fine. But I do. So there you go. There we have it. So anyway, I love that program, and no one can tell me otherwise. But one of my weird thoughts that I had this week, just to remind you that I was going to go back to
one of many.
There was two I had this week, and one of which I think I might actually send out as I'm going to say it now, well, not now, in a second, but I am going to use as a Salty Tadpole interaction, because I think it might be quite interesting to get people's answers. But going back to the whole Spider-Man thing, what if instead of Spider-Man's webs coming out of his hands, it came out of his bum, James?
It'd be realistic to a spider, so yeah, interesting.
That's what I was thinking, because it's like, that's sort of the area that it comes out of when it's actually a spider. So what if, instead of it coming out of his hands, because all of them have got the spider webs coming out of their wrist or whatever, But yeah, what if, every time he farted, he left a web behind?
Yeah. And certainly when he travels, he'd need to get parking, sensors, wouldn't he? So he doesn't hit things all the time. Because he wouldn't be able to see things because he'd be traveling backwards all the time.
Yeah, he would. He would definitely have to do that. So yeah, I mean, it would definitely be a lot more of an interesting show. Spider-Man, yeah, farted and spider webs came out. I think, yeah, I think we should write this story.
Keep his identity well hidden, would he?
Well, I mean, and if he always kept his trousers on, he would be all right, wouldn't he?
Just his trousers, yeah. How would he explain when his trousers start to inflate?
Well, I mean, but that was one of my weird thoughts. And the other one, which is the one that I want to put out to the Salty Tadpoles, but I want to hear what you think as well. But of course, I've got an answer as well, is if you could go back in time and buy something from the past, what would it be?
Good question.
I know. See, some of my questions are good. Some of them are a little bit wacky, but Do you want me to answer first while you have a little think?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, because I was thinking of the cost of cigarettes and the cost of petrol. So I was thinking if it went back in time, I'd go back to the time when it was like, £4.50 to buy a pack of 20, cigarettes or whatever, and just buy up a load of tobacco and stuff like that. And come back to this day and age and, sell it on for a profit. I'm not quite sure how I was going to get the petrol in. That may cause an issue. But it's from my own point of view, the cigarettes part, that was what I was thinking.
I like the idea of cigarettes around a combustible element like petrol. But,
well, I wasn't gonna bring them both back together.
Just thinking more if you have people lighting up, going, "Yeah, these are nice cigarettes." Boom.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to time travel, I would probably go now. If you're going to go back, you could go back and probably do something like buy humongously large amounts of shares in something like, say, I don't know, Tesla or
Apple.
What else would be, or Apple or Microsoft, something like that. But the inherent thing the reality of what happens with time travel is, this is a real sort of scientific question that's asked, is if you did something like that, would you change the perimeters or parameters of what's happened? So would there be like a paradox situation where by doing that, you would totally change the situation of the shares of the product? So you, by buying, say, a huge amount of these shares, not being the person who bought them in the original timeline, could actually completely change everything. So they could almost become, say, worthless or worth more. You don't know what the outcome would be. But if we're working the principle that I will not have an impact upon the time continuum and change things, I'll just buy humongously large amounts of shares, use money to buy land in areas where you can make a lot of money, things like that, and then hopefully come back to the present with find out oodles of cash and use it to better both myself and humanity.
That sounds very good. And the other thing that I was thinking as well is all of the mint in books, like collectible items as well. You get all the really good stuff.
Sort of bring make a fortune.
Back. Yeah. Actually, that reminds me as well. I know it's a Gemma heavy episode this week, even though I said that I'm feeling crap. I'm very chattery.
Gemma's brain is firing on some cylinders, so we're doing well.
We are, yeah. But the other thing that I thought of as well, the other thing that I'm doing at the moment, let's say, is I've got a funny story as well. Sorry, it's been quite a week. So, okay, we'll go with the funny story first. So I went up in the loft, and I haven't ever been up into the loft before. So my mum,
you've never been in the loft?
No.
Wow.
My mum knows how clumsy I am, so she just said, "No, just don't come up here."
Don't run the risk. Fair enough.
So anyway, so she wanted me to go through a load of boxes that were up there that were like with loads of toys that I've got and stuff like that, and also what I'd like is if any salty tadpoles know of anywhere that I can start looking to sort of sell old toys and maybe get an idea on how much things are worth, that, could you sort of let me know? That would be great. It's like at Codswallop Pod on Twitter, or, I'm on Facebook or whatever. So, but yeah, that would be quite useful. And also, James, if obviously you can tell me in a minute. Mm-hmm. So I went up in the loft, and getting up there was a little bit of a challenge. I had to kind of work out how to maneuver my feet. Gonna cough, 2 secs.
I can help you on that. Maneuver your feet. You put one in front of the other, and one in front of the other. You keep doing that, and if you do that enough, you'll be moving.
Yeah, well, I did that when I walked up the ladder.
Excellent.
Yeah, but then I got to the step that was just underneath the top step, and so the top step rather than the top step, and and then you have to step across, and then sort of push yourself off the ladder, if you know what I mean. So
right, yep,
yeah. So I'm
so far we're hitting Krypton factor levels of difficulty here, but I like it.
Well, see, I'm all right at this stage, but I'm making a bit of a mountain out of a molehill, kind of thing, trying to get up there. My mum's going, "Oh no, Gemma, just don't," and she's in the loft already. She's fine, she's in the loft, but she's like, "I can't watch," and I was like, "Well, don't watch then, because you're making me nervous." So it's the whole scenario is because she's making me nervous. I'm nervous, and anyway, so eventually I get up there. And then so I go through all the boxes and whatnot. We all work out, blah, 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 blah. But then when I'm trying to go down the ladder to go out, obviously get out of the loft, it takes me, I know exactly in my brain what I have to do, but my feet won't move to do what I need them to do to try and get down the ladder. It's like, it's almost like I was frozen in time, that, my brain just, I don't know, it was like fight or flight or whatever, but, it's kind of like, I knew I had to move my foot. I had hold of the ladder at the top, and I needed to move my foot to just like put it on the steps so I could just walk down. But my foot would not move. And I was killing myself laughing. It's actually a surprise that I'm not still up in the loft now.
Are you broadcasting from the loft? It's a shame, isn't it, Salty Tadpoles, and the mind wanders.
It's not the mind wandering. It was just literally, have you ever been like that that you're just sort of like at the stage where you're just like, I can't, I know what I have to do, but my brain won't connect to my leg that needs to move it down.
It's possible, but that has happened. It hasn't left enough of an imprint with me that I can remember.
No, whatever. Yes, good special boy. No, well, anyway, I found it funny, and I thought it would be funny for the Salty Tadpoles, and I'm sure they're laughing, unlike you. Here's a pain in the ass.
We just know that the next time this happens, Gemma will be broadcasting from the loft forever.
No, I'm not allowed back up there again. It's safe to say I'm definitely not allowed back up there. But it was quite hysterical to watch. And again, my mum was like, "Oh, please, just stop, just do it." I was like, "I can't, my leg won't move." I think it was just it can get a bit difficult getting up and down ladders. So it's a good. You've survived. You're out. You never have to return there again. No, and I think the fact is as well is that it was like my first time doing it as well. So it's like I had to really think about what I was doing. I was overthinking what I was doing, but still, it was funny. So.
Don't worry. For the future, you can plan it like a military operation for the next time you ever have to go in the loft.
Nah, I'll just send my brother up there. I'll just be like a princess and be downstairs. Yeah, I'll just be like a princess. I'll just be like a princess downstairs, and I'll be like, "Yeah, Lee, just pass it all down to me, and I'll take it from down the bottom." So that's rude.
When you hit, we'll ignore the filth. When you hear a thud of like him collapsing, just be all right up there. Yeah,
he wouldn't collapse. He'd be fine. He's a big boy. He's fine. So, James, should we wrap this episode up with some stories of the week?
Definitely.
Have you got a story?
I have.
Well,
I have got I've got the potential of a man who was banned from using his stepmother's scooter at a McDonald's drive-through. What a doofus.
I think you should go for that one because mine is also McDonald's related.
Okay, yeah, I'm good to go with you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to start? Yeah.
Yeah. You go first because then I can have a little cough.
A man was banned from driving for using his stepmom's scooter at a McDonald's drive-through. So a man who wanted an early morning snack after a night of drinking has been banned from driving. Liam Smith, 20, was spotted at on his stepmom's three-wheel e-scooter with a woman on the back at 4 a.m. on January the 14th. He was seen staggering to a branch of McDonald's in the Three Counties retail park in Malvern, Worcestershire, by police officers called out to another incident. They breathalyzed him, and he was found to be 3 times over the drink driving limit. Smith's pursuit for a McMuffin has left him with a 2-year driving ban and fines totaling £412. Prosecutor Fatima Yasmin said police were called to McDonald's in Three Counties retail park on January the 14th this year at around 4 a.m. in the morning to an unrelated incident. While there, police observed Smith driving the three-wheel bike towards them at high speed. Yeah, that's a really smart move, isn't it? A female passenger was on the back. Neither were wearing a helmet. It came to a sudden stop. When Smith got off the bike, he was unsteady on his feet, so police followed him into the fast food restaurant. The court heard Smith, who hopes to train as a soldier, had taken his stepmom's mobility e-scooter after getting hungry following a night of heavy drinking. Sam Lamsdale, defending, said it wasn't an e-scooter often driven by people of his age, but his stepmother's mobility aid bike he had permission to drive. The vehicle had no number plates, but if it had, he would have realised driving it on the roads after drinking alcohol would mean he was committing an offence. The vehicle has no number plate. So as I say, it has no number plate. If he had realised it was a criminal offence, he wouldn't have parked next to a marked police vehicle. It's like, is this guy lining up the problems for himself or what? This is a young man who has never been in trouble before. Chairman of the bench, Chris Mitchell, said, if you're going to join the army, you need to think about your actions. And lo and behold, as it's a Metro article, that's it, folks. We got nothing else. I'm unsure if he will actually be able to get into the army now, but, hats off to him. Hopefully he doesn't do anything as stupid as this ever again. Yeah,
well, fingers crossed. I mean, but yeah, that is quite a big black mark against his name now, isn't it? So, sometimes you just have the urge to go to McDonald's, but definitely. He was definitely steaming, with regards to being drunk with, obviously parking next to a police car.
I've never had an urge to have fast food that badly, so he must have been desperate.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also the drinking, isn't it? So, as soon as you start drinking, you just want like greasy kebab or pizza or whatever, or McDonald's, it's all the stuff, the greasy food to line your stomach, isn't it? So, so I see it from that point of view, but silly boy.
Daft man, daft.
Yeah, but like I said, so my story is also McDonald's related. So we're having a I'm loving it moment. So this one is actually provided to me by our dear, wonderful Andy. So Andy Barr.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Andy Barr. Hello, Andy Barr. Hello, Andy Barr. Sorry. Anyway, so there we have it. I'm a little bit nuts tonight. So he originally thought that this was actually a photoshopped picture that he sent me, and I found it absolutely hilarious. And I said, "Oh, can you send me over the story?" And like I said, he thought it was photoshopped. Turned out it was actually a real story. So here we go. McDonald's to remove tasteless sign opposite Cornwall crematorium.
I've seen this.
Right. The advertising poster next to the sign for Penmount Crematorium has largely been greeted with hilarity. You know, Cornish are pretty funny, so, you know, it's all good. Burger giant McDonald's has said it will remove its tasteless sign opposite a crematorium in Cornwall after the unfortunate coincidental placement was pointed out by Cornwall Live. So this article is actually from Cornwall Live, by the way. Although the advertising hoarding has caused hilarity amongst motorists who spot it on the busy A39, others fear it may upset grieving families. The sign advertising the fast food chain's McCrispy burger, just to repeat, McCrispy burger, is right next to a crematorium sign and has been placed on the bus stop directly opposite Penmount Crematorium on the road between Truro and Carland Cross. So I'm not 100% sure where that is, but there you go. One woman whose mother-in-law was cremated at the establishment last year said, although I can see the funny side, it is tasteless. Which actually, funny enough, I've had that burger. I didn't like the taste of it either, but there we have it. And I'm sure some grieving family members won't like to see it when they're visiting Penmount for the funeral services or cremation of a loved one. When a Cornwall Live reporter asked people what they thought of the sign, someone replied, I think how funny it is will probably depend on how long ago you followed the crematorium sign wearing a black tie. So, you know, obviously going to a funeral. When we shared an image of the sign, it was greeted with hilarity. Amongst the comments were, anyone who doesn't find this funny are the same people that were taken into consideration when the Penmount Hotel in Newquay became Penberthy Care Home. There you go. It was thought some wouldn't find the funny side of a building full of old folk sharing the same name as the corporation body furnace. Oh, okay. So that's why that's funny. So no worse than our local council entertaining the idea of allowing a crematorium to be built next to a retirement village is another comment. Fell off the chair laughing. And of course, I'm loving it, said the chain slogan. Well, not said the chain slogan, but, you know, that person did. Someone who works in advertising at sites at Cornwall said, not me, luckily. I do have sympathy, however. So McDonald's are taking it seriously, though. When shown a photo of the sign, a spokesperson said, we were unaware of the road sign in the vicinity of the bus stop. However, in light of the concerns raised by the Cornwall Live, we have asked for our advertising to be removed. Rumors that it will be replaced with a Burger King flame grilled Whopper, but it might be, as you know, it might be replaced with, you know, Burger King are trying to get involved, basically. So yeah, what do you think about that, James?
I'd already seen it. Yeah, I can see it being a bit tasteless, but I despite what McDonald's say, I feel they protest too much, and maybe that had been planned out in advance to get a response. Yeah,
but I think also with the British sense of humour, they kind of thought that they probably would get away with it as well, because, you know, we are sick in the head, so, you know.
Well, speak for yourself. I mean,
no, I am, and I'm speaking for everybody else, including you. We are
shocking.
We are as sick in the head kind of race of people. We find really, really disturbing things funny. So there we have it. I'm going to leave you on that note. It seems that my co-host is, finished for the evening, so he's got nothing else to say.
I'm afraid I have nothing else to say on that.
No.
There's nothing else I can think of. Sorry.
It's just like pulling teeth this week, guys. It's a good job I was here, wouldn't it? Because otherwise you'd have got nothing out of James.
Well, basically, I've not had much room to talk, to be honest.
I'm giving you
Gemma.
I'm giving you opportunity to talk, and you decided not to talk. So, there we have it. So in that case, then, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, salty tadpoles of the world, I think we've been talking enough Codswallop this week. I have been Gemma.
I have been James.
You have. And bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.